how to make money this week on today's episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Thrive Themes, blazingly fast WordPress templates and plugins built to get more traffic, more subscribers, more clients, and more customers to you. To find out how Thrive Themes can turn your blog or website into a money-making work of art, go to servenomaster.com/Thrive Themes.
Are you tired of dealing with your boss? Do you feel underpaid and underappreciated? If you want to make it online, fire your boss and start living your retirement dreams now, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Serve No Master Podcast, where you'll learn how to open new revenue streams and make money while you sleep. Presented live from a tropical island in the South Pacific by best-selling author Jonathan Green. Now, here's your host.
Last week, I received one of these emails that I get all the time from a new person who just read Serve No Master, and she was so inspired and wrote me this amazing email about a plan she put together to leave her job in about a year to 18 months, and she was going to start taking action immediately. And I love getting those emails. I love when people send me that inspiration email, and it really gets me going. It makes me feel good to know that some people out there are being affected by my message. Even more exciting was an email I received just a few days ago, where she messaged me to let me know that she'd already started 2 new projects. She'd already earned money 2 different ways online, and emailed back to ask a little more, and then she told me now it was 5. And I'm so excited by people taking action. I kind of want to break down the process so you can have the same type of results. It all begins with transitioning from the research to the action-taking phase. Some people read Serve No Master in a day. I know it's really long. Some people it takes a month, and that's okay. During the time where you read a book, you go through moments of really great excitement, and then it will kind of temper. You get really excited maybe when you read the first few chapters, and if it takes you a month to read it, your excitement will slowly go down over time, and that's totally normal. That's the same reason most people don't finish courses, we don't finish products we buy, we don't finish the books we buy, because we get excited, we read the first few chapters, like, oh, I got the rough idea, and you go on to the next thing that gets you excited. This is normal human nature, and what we want to do is be aware of what makes us normal and figure out ways to adjust our behavior to improve our chances of success. So you get excited and you have this high level of motivation, and over time you know it's going to go down. That means the faster you take action, the more likely you are to succeed. You want to take action when you have that high level of energy, that high level of excitement, so you can have success very quickly. The sooner you have success, that's what will keep you going. And she's doing voiceover work, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to talk about that because I mostly don't. I usually talk about other ways of making money online or building a business, but this is something really good that I think could be good for a lot of people. Now, it's not for me because I don't have a great voice and I'm not a precise person. And I have a lot of trouble with background noise where I live. If there's not a kid in my house making noise or the dog barking, there's a bird outside or there's a motorcycle going by. Even right now, at 5 in the morning, no one's awake yet. The ocean is so loud this early that my microphone picks it up a little bit. And there goes a bird. It's just the nature of where I live. So for me to get a perfect, pristine sound is a little bit challenging. But if you live somewhere where you have a little more sound control, which most of you do, if you have your own house, you have an apartment with decent walls, you can record, even if you have to record in the middle of the night. And the process of doing voiceover work is very simple. You have to get everything right. You have to say the exact words on the page. And there's a set of decisions that people make. Like when you're reading a long book, you may discover there's mistakes in it. I tend to send my books to the narrator before I've caught every mistake. Sometimes I don't catch a grammar mistake here or there for a year. It happens. And so you run into those mistakes and you have to decide, am I going to email the author and slow down this process? Or am I just going to read through it? I'm going to try and guess what they meant. I don't know the right answer for that one. Most readers I know just read whatever's on the page. That seems to be the standard response. Only once in a while, if it's really egregious, will you email the author. I've only ever had someone email me, I think, about 2 different issues, 2 different little mistakes over the 30 or 40 books I've sent to readers. Now, narrators can do very, very well. Every time I sell a copy of one of my audiobooks, the narrator makes exactly the same amount of money I do. If I make $2, the narrator makes $2. If I make 30, the narrator makes 30. We're in it 50-50. So narrators can actually do very well long term. Narrators can also get sweet money in the short term. There are many narrators charging $200 to $500 an hour. Now, the measurement of an hour for a narrator is a little different. You're not measuring how long you're working, but how long your final product is. This is where your efficiency comes into place. If you can read an hour of the book in an hour without making mistakes, yeah, you're making $500 an hour. But if you make tons of mistakes and it takes you 5 hours of retakes and editing, well, then you're making $100 an hour for the same money. So as you get better, as you get more efficient, You make more money simply by making less mistakes that you have to go back and fix. So how do you find clients as an error? How do you get out there? And there's a couple of things that you can do to get going right away. The first thing is, if you have any interest in doing this at all, you have to build a profile and put it up on acx.com. That is the Amazon exchange for audiobooks. That is where I hire all of my readers, my narrators. Even if someone comes to me directly and says they want to read one of my books, I still make them go through the ACX process because of this process through which I am most familiar, and it ensures that all the payment is handled the way I want to do it. I don't have to check the amount of money an audiobook makes each month and then pay the person. No, Amazon does the split before the money gets to me. I like that. Once you have your little profile at ACX, the next thing you want to do is record 5 or 10 demos of you reading different types of books, even if you haven't actually done a project before. Each of your demo recordings can be anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. It's just enough time for people to get a feel. If you want to read nonfiction, read a couple of different nonfiction books. You want to do fiction, do a couple. I recommend doing a spectrum because work is work. So maybe you have a romance scene, maybe you have an action scene, you have a few other things. Some people talk about doing voices. I've never hired someone who does different voices for characters in one of my books. If I had a children's book, I might be interested in that, but I've never found the need for that in what I do, and I'm not sure how much people enjoy or don't enjoy that. So you'll have to research that directly. And if you can't do voices, that's fine. I had someone email me last week saying, oh, I want to do your book, but I don't do voices. I said, that's fine. I don't want you to do voices anyways. Maybe in some fiction books, people really like it. In some fiction books, people don't. But that's one of the choices you begin to make as you're building out your little resume. You don't have to have actually done books in the past. You can just have samples. Now, the next step in the process is to apply for everything. I absolutely recommend that you apply for every book you can find where your voice fits the qualifications. You know, when someone posts something up, when I post a book, it says, what gender do you want? What age do you want? Do you want a particular accent? You have to fill out a few questions. It's just how it is. It won't let you push the book until you put those few questions up. And so once you have your questions in place, once you have your answers and you see what someone wants, you can go, oh, well, I have a Midwestern accent. And so any book that says they don't care about the accent, they want American accent, they want Midwestern, you can apply for it. You also have to check the gender, of course. And I recommend applying for tons. So the application process, and we're just building one funnel. I'm going to go through several different ways. The application process is quite simple. You see a book you like, you download the script, you record yourself reading the script back, and you upload the file. The total time to apply when you're first starting out is about 10 minutes. As you get better, that will drop down to 5 minutes. That means you could apply to at least 10 jobs per hour. And I recommend that you start applying to loads. Now, I also recommend you start with smaller books so you get a feel. My first batch of books, a lot of the ones I did were about 10,000 words, and that's about an hour of work. That's an hour final product. Don't commit to a 50-hour book or like a 10-hour book until you've done smaller ones to get a feel. I recommend that one day a week, you spend a couple of hours just applying to books. Now, it's important to understand the way ACX works. This is a little more advanced tip. Every time someone adds a book, it just goes to the top of the list. So some people will add a book at midnight. They're working after work. They upload their book to ACX. They say they're looking for a reader. In the morning, 20 more people do theirs before work. The one before midnight might not have any applications because it got pushed to the bottom of the list. Search results are always listed by what's the most recent offer. There's no other way of sifting through search results. So I recommend looking for ones that kind of went in overnight or that are a little bit older. Just because they're older doesn't mean they picked anyone. Sometimes when I have a book, I have to wait 2 weeks to find the perfect voice. And there's no predicting what people want. I think you're going to be a little bit pleasantly surprised when Procrastination audiobook is ready. It's already been finished and submitted to Amazon for final approval, but it takes a little bit of time. So as far as the actual process, once you get hired for one of these jobs, you then have to record the book, upload the file, following a couple of rules as far as how to put the table of contents, how to do the front and back matter. There's some specific rules for audiobooks. You know, when you say, this is by Jonathan Green, read by Jonathan Green, or those things, you have to follow those rules. It's not too complicated. They tell you what to do. It's like an extra 30 seconds. Once you upload it and the person approves it, they say, yep, you did a great job. Amazon takes 6 more weeks to do their approval process. It could be a full 6 weeks before your book actually appears for sale, your audiobook. So there can be a big space between when you do the work and when you get paid. And this is one of those situations where you can choose to get a flat fee or choose to be a percentage. As you take jobs and negotiate, and maybe you'll do a mix. But it really is, mostly in my opinion, the better way to go is with split fees. So if you have like running income, you have income going over time. And once in a, you might have a couple of books that they don't do that great, and then you'll have one that's a big winner, and kind of it'll even out over time. I do recommend it. It's a little bit gambling on yourself, but also you're building up your resume a little bit. If you think a book is absolutely terrible and no one's ever going to buy it, then yeah, I guess you can do a flat fee. But I think that percentage is good for both sides of the equation. So once you build up your ACX funnel, and it's really simple, you put a profile, reply to people. You can also email every author that you like. Say, oh, I saw your book is up. I just want to let you know I submitted my thing. Let me know if you like the style of the voice. I'm more than happy to record a second one in a deeper voice or a slightly different change if you want a different tone. That's okay. It's really good to be more proactive. If you email someone, you're more on their radar at least. The next thing you can do, and I absolutely recommend this, and I cover this a lot in some of the training I have in the Earn 1K This Month free program at servenomaster.com/1K. You can go there and you'll see this podcast, a lot of other episodes, and mostly that training focuses on how to make money freelance writing, but this is how to use a different skill, which is voiceover work, which is wonderful. Now, what I'm teaching you now, of course, applies to multiple different skills. You just have to find the right platform. If you want to do graphics, there's websites for graphics. If you want to do music, there's place for music. So it's really just about the concept as much as it's about being a voiceover person. The next thing you want to do is put up a profile on Fiverr. Again, you want to have a couple of your recordings, talk about what accents you can do, what type of voices you do, what kind of projects you could do. On Fiverr, you get paid smaller money for smaller projects. Some people get paid $5 for 50 words. Most projects will be larger, but you're doing pretty good. One of those $5 projects takes you about 5 minutes. Suddenly you're doing $60 an hour, and you're building up your skill set, your experience, and your catalog. Putting in one of those profiles is really good. Of course, how do you get those first customers? And again, I recommend advertising in lots of different places. You should tell everyone on Facebook what you're up to. Say, hey, if you're looking for someone to do voiceover work, I'm really trying to experiment with my voice. If you're looking for someone for graphics work, I'm really trying to do more graphics work. Whatever you want to do, put the word out. I always recommend letting people know what you're interested in doing, what you want them to know about. And some friends will go, oh, I'll hire you, or I like your voice, or they'll say a friend of a friend will hire you. And you'll start to get a little bit of traffic. The real key is to put a few things in place and let people know. Once you have a few samples, you can start building things. And again, we at this point can fall almost perfectly into the 1K program. The ACX part is what's unique for doing voiceovers, but then it falls into the same things. You go to Fiverr, you go to Upwork. You can go to Outsourcely if you're looking for a full-time job. And I'm going to talk about Outsourcely more and more over the next few weeks because I've been testing that website for hiring people as my new platform. All of these different places allow you to do some really cool things. The more places you put your profile, when you're on Upwork, when you're on Outsourcely, when you're on Fiverr, when you're on Warrior Forum, when you're on every different place you can put, you'll start to get jobs here and there. You can even put some ads on Craigslist. And you can get jobs this week. It doesn't take a really long time. As this awesome new follower demonstrated, in less than a week, she's gotten 5 jobs. Now, at first, you will take some jobs that aren't that high paying because you're building up a new resume. So maybe you have to start off taking these $5 jobs, but that's okay because you're developing a skill and you're getting paid to learn it. I love getting paid to learn. I love getting paid to develop skills. Now, you may notice that it really just started raining here. The rain just started pouring down, hitting the tin roof near me. There's a little bit of background noise. I apologize for that. I'll try to talk louder. Whoa, the storm just went up a level. Okay, it just went full bore crazy. But these are some really simple steps you can take. The simplest way I can say it is take action. Stop listening, start doing. Follow the 1K steps with whatever skill you want to sell, and you can make money this week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Serve No Master. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. We'll be back tomorrow with more tips and tactics on how to escape that rat race. Head over to servenomaster.com/podcasts now for your chance to win a free copy of Jonathan's bestseller, Serve No Master. All you have to do is leave a 5-star review of this podcast. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Serve No Master podcast. Make sure to subscribe so that together we can achieve true freedom.